My name is Matt Sweetwood, and I'm here with Dr. Geo in Midtown Manhattan.
That's Geo with an E, not an I.
Geo with an I. You know, there was a Devils hockey player. His name was Geo. His nickname was Geo. You're not him, are you?
I'm not. Thank goodness. I don't have any broken bones.
You didn't play any hockey?
No hockey. No hockey.
So we're going to talk today, maybe this is going to be the first video in our series of what we like to call men's issues.
That's right.
Men's issues, father's issues, and so on. And today we're going to sort of start with a big topic, and we're going to call it the science of slowing down the aging process.
That's right. I love it.
It's just a small little thing.
It's near and dear to my heart.
And we're not going to drink this little pink liquid or something, and it's going to grow hair.
It might be green liquid, but it won't grow hair.
It's not going to grow hair. So I'm a regular writer for the Good Men Project, and this video is going to appear on the Good Men Project and maybe a few other sites later on. And I think it's going to be a really great opportunity for me to bring experts in like yourself to discuss these kinds of issues.
Great.
So you're a doctor here in Manhattan.
I am. I'm a doctor here. I'm the director of the Integrative and Functional Urology Center at NYU. And probably the audience will say, what the heck is that? And what it is where we look at things from a much more of a holistic perspective, where we actually connect the lower half of the body with the upper half of the body. How's that for a change?
Well, I think that women actually think that those parts are disconnected in men, the upper part and the lower part. But you mean something completely different than that's right?
That's right. Just a tad different. Right along those lines, though.
Yeah.
Bottom line is that things are interconnected, and when we look at health and when we look at how to reverse disease, when we don't look at the interconnections of how the body works, we're doing a very poor job, particularly with chronic disease.
And as I've gotten older, I've learned that a lot of these things are connected. We talked about coming here, I have a little bit of a back issue, and we were talking about that's not always physiological. There's some stress issues that go on there with that. I've had some life changes, so we understand that all of these things are connected. Now, you're having from a internet, social media perspective, you're having a pretty big week, right? Because you're going to be on WebMD, which I know is the pinnacle of your career. Right?
It's definitely one of them. It's definitely a privilege to be. I'm going to be interviewed with that WebMD. Men's Journal magazine also interviewed me on the topic of low testosterone and how can you raise it naturally.
I don't have low testosterone. No way.
Not you.
Not
you. Not me.
But
me. Everyone else does.
Everyone else does. And you also have a book coming out.
Yes, thank you for announcing that. It's called Thrive, Don't Survive. Dr. Geo's Guide to Living Your Best Life Before and After Prostate Cancer.
Okay, so to me, that's really, really, a good segue into what we want to talk about today. So the fact that we're calling it the science of living longer means that there's actually science behind it. This is not just something we're going to make up here as we go.
Correct. This is not just some esoteric fountain of youth. There's actually a lot of science behind what does it take to live long and well. Obviously, no one wants to live long and be a vegetable anywhere.
I think that's sort of the biggest fear, because sometimes people make that joke. You're like, I want to live to. People are like, I don't want to live to 90. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to have all of these diseases and ailments and everything. I'd rather have a short, healthy life than a long, life that's not so healthy at the end. So you're saying that you can do both.
Most people I know, if you can afford it, most men that I know, if you can afford it, want to live long and well. The key issue is being able to afford to live long and well, because it's very costly to live long.
Why is it costly?
Because then to sustain.
So everybody wants to live a long life, but we want to live a long and healthy life. And there's a science to this. So let's talk about some of the things that you can do to actually live that long and healthy life.
First of all, I want to re-emphasize the fact that there is an extraordinary amount of science there. The question is, who's informing people of that science? And this is something that I like to do, not only in my clinic, but in my writings. And then the second thing is, are you willing to do what it takes? So there's a lot of evidence. We're going to discuss that, but it requires a lot of doing, a lot of action.
And for me, I think that I just want to pause on that for a second. Because there were times in my life when I was very overweight. I was very unhappy in my life. I was going through divorce.
Right.
And I put on a lot of weight. And one of the ways that I lost the weight, so I was 300 pounds.
Wow.
And now I'm 200 pounds, and I'm in pretty good shape. I like to say I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I use to motivate myself is my personal slogan, which is, how badly do you want it?
Right.
And, men out there, are athletes, and we like to be men, and we like to be strong in character and strong in many ways. But it's one of those things, if it's something that you really want, then you should be able to achieve it.
Right. Absolutely. And there's a whole psychology to identifying what you want and how badly do you want it. So that's not something to just say or in passing.
Can you just elaborate on that?
The first question that I typically ask many of my patients is, give me 10 reasons why you want to be healthy and live well.
Okay, let me name a few. I don't know if I can give you 10 really fast. I have 5 kids.
Right. So that's 5.
And I'm a single parent.
Right.
And their mother's not around, hasn't been around for a long time, and I want to be around for them.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to enjoy life. I just sold my business. I've worked my butt off for 30 years.
Right.
And now I want to go out and party, or whatever that means for a boring man like me.
Yeah.
But I want to go out and have a good time. I want to enjoy life. I don't want to be a burden on my family.
That's right.
I want to have a high quality of life, so I definitely want to do that. I have so many things that I want to see in this world. I have things that I want to accomplish. Look, I'm writing a book.
Right.
Man Up.
Right.
Funny enough, on this topic, on the journey that I've been through.
Right.
I want to go out and help people. So there's lots of things that I want to do. That's just right off.
And that's just 4 off the top. Right there. It's very important, Matt, for you and everyone else listening to have these reasons written somewhere, and somewhere where they can see it on a daily basis. Because the fact of the matter is that tomorrow, life is going to take over. Right away.
When they're in front of you, that is such a good point. I know that I've recently done things like made vision boards of things I want to accomplish in my life.
Right.
So why shouldn't your health and the reason to live long be right in front of you? It is a fantastic idea. So let's call that tip 1.
Tip 1.
Tip 1 of really the science of living a longer, healthier life is make a list of the reasons why you want to actually have a longer and healthier life.
Have your whys on a 3x5 index card, folded in your wallet, and when you have the option of eating a donut or a bowl of broccoli, you take that out, look at it, and then you make a decision. You mean
the donut is not on the how to live longer list?
The best part about a donut is that hole in the middle.
Yeah. There's a joke I can make here, but I'm not going to make it, okay?
Right. Next video shoot.
Next video series, we're going to say that. So I think that is actually a fantastic tip. I know a lot of people are like, I don't need that. I know why. But when it's sitting in front of you and you read those tangible words, I did something like that recently with things that I'm grateful for and thankful for.
Absolutely.
And I think that almost goes on the list, right? Those kinds of things just right in front of you.
Tip number 2. Let's just go right into it right away. So tip number 1 is write it down on an index card. See it every day. Your whys. Give me 10 whys. Tip number 2. First thing you do when you wake up in the morning, after washing your face, etc., is to be grateful for the things you have.
I love that, and I focus on that a lot. Be
grateful for the things you have. What ends up happening oftentimes that actually directly and indirectly works with aging is not being grateful or not thinking about all the wonderful things you have. Typically people say, I don't have enough money, I'm having a fight with my wife, and meanwhile most people I know, patients, I've seen thousands of patients, and everyone has things that they should be grateful for.
I agree with that, and I don't mean, and the one thing I've said this to people, write a list of things that you're grateful for, because when I counsel men frequently, and a lot of times they're upset about divorce or they're upset about things. One of the things I do is try to point them to things, and I don't mean say, I'm grateful because I'm not a starving person in a third world country. That's not what you're grateful for. You want to be grateful really for the things that are in your life. For me, I'm grateful for having 5 amazing, successful children, and I'll count each one of them individually. It's not just 5 children, it's actually each one, and I think about their qualities.
That's right.
I think about the fact that I'm 52 years old and I'm healthy and I've had good health my whole life. I think about the fact that I'm sitting right now in Midtown Manhattan on a beautiful sunny day, enjoying life, breathing the air. I'm grateful for the air. I know that sounds ridiculous.
With your friend Dr. Geo.
With my friend Dr. Geo, exactly. Where? Who? Who's that? Who's that?
That guy right over there. That's that guy right there.
Right. I'm great. And so you find things that are grateful. And tell me if what's the physiological effect of being grateful?
The physiological effect is what part of the nervous system you're stimulating. What does that mean? That means that your autonomic, there's two parts of your autonomic nervous system, and I don't want to be overly technical, but it's important to understand. That's the sympathetic nervous system, that's the stress, fight, or flight nervous system, and then there's the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calmness type of nervous system, the ones that allows you to digest food, defecate, urinate, and get an erection.
Which we know is a very, very important part of men's health.
Only if they stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Why, when a man is nervous, they go to the bedroom and they're thinking about their stocks or their stresses,
right, and
they cannot get
it up.
Get it up.
Right, and so you're really talking about this on a large scale, not just I'm nervous because I'm nervous because of this woman or whatever. So if you're not calm and you don't have yourself relaxed like that, you're not going to function as well.
You're just simply not going to function. Then you're going to come to my office and then you're going to say, Doc, I need some Viagra. And Viagra, no one that I know has a Viagra deficiency. That's a Band-Aid that doesn't take care of the cause.
You mean so I should stop taking like 5 or 6 a day? No, it's no good?
No, cut it down to 2 a day.
That was a joke. Joke. Don't take. Okay.
Well, take if you need. I'm not judging anyone.
I don't need. Okay.
So then.
Yeah.
So then that's the power that stress has, where it stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, and it causes ultimately your cells to shrink, and your part of your DNA to shrink as well, particularly the ends of the DNA. Let me explain here for 1 second, because actually this is a very important point. Aging is a result of deterioration of cells.
Okay.
More cells are deteriorated than your body can make. So there's an imbalance with cells dying off and the amount of cells that your body can make. All right? That's controlled by your DNA. Your DNA is the recipe inside of every cell. If you protect your DNA, you're going to protect yourself from all kinds of aging diseases that include things like cancer, Alzheimer's, bone loss or bone wasting, muscle loss, heart attacks, etc. So ultimately, what are we trying to do? We're trying to protect our DNA. If this is our DNA here, we're trying to build a group of bodyguards, right? So that all kinds of crap doesn't come into the DNA, messes up that sequence, and causes aging.
Fascinating.
Make sense?
Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Right?
Okay, so we've got 2 big tips.
Right.
One, we're going to make a list of the 10 reasons why we want to live longer.
Give me your whys. I need to know your whys.
And we're going to make a list of the things that we're grateful for, and you believe that should be a daily affirmation.
Every single day. Men are stubborn. I know what most men would do and think, oh no, I have this in my mind. I don't need to go over this. I know it. No. We need to see it, not know it. We don't need to know it. We need to feel it.
Got it. Okay. Number 3.
Then we need to talk about what to eat and not to eat and how much to eat. Both from a dietary perspective, what to eat, what not to eat, and how much to eat all play a significant role. I'll put it very simply for you. Eat a lot of plant foods, whole plant foods, and do not eat too much. Now, what does all this mean? It could get very lengthy.
Okay, but let's sort of give the basic tenets. If I were going to walk away from this.
The basic tenets from a dietary perspective is eat plant foods, nuts, seeds, berries, vegetables, and whole grains primarily. Eat different colors on your plate.
Okay.
Right? Eat all your colors, like I tell my kids. And do not eat too much. In fact, fasting every now and then is great for your telomeres to protect your DNA. Fasting, and I like to do intermittent fasting every day. What that is you don't eat between a certain time to another time, and you eat between another set of times. So what I tell my patients and what I do often is I don't eat for 12 hours a day.
So you gave me that tip actually a few weeks ago when we were speaking, and I've actually tried to follow it. where you told me it should be, and I try to make it 12 hours from my last meal of the day.
Correct.
Between my first meal of the next day, not to eat anything in between.
Correct.
And I actually feel stronger. I don't know, maybe it's psychological, but I actually feel stronger. In other words, I'm hungry when I go for that meal. I feel lean. I feel sort of in the right way. And there's something to that 12 hours. 8 hours, 9 hours, not quite enough. 12 hours, and sometimes even if I extend it a little bit further,
absolutely,
it's good. A little bit more than that. Once you get past for like 14 hours, I don't know, just for me, I've not felt as well. But I've actually tried to incorporate that into my routine every day.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer. Not only from what you can feel subjectively, but even objectively, the way, I mean, it's all in the science, about hundreds of research papers written on this.
Okay, so eat small amounts, right? This is sort of I think a lot of people know this, but it's really good to hear it from the doc. You want to eat small amounts, you want to eat gatherer's kind of diet.
You want to graze and fast.
How do you feel about eating meat? I know this is something that we always talk about, eating red meat. You know, how much should you eat? Should you not eat it?
Here's the deal with meat. Because one of the most popular diets in this day and age is the paleo diet, which suggests that you can eat as much meat as you want.
Okay.
Here's the deal with meat. There are two issues with meat. Number one is the type, the meat.
Let's talk about beef, right?
Beef.
So what's the issue with beef?
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef with beef?
I like to eat steak, so what's wrong with it?
Actually, there's very little wrong with it, to be quite honest with you. Here's the deal. It depends on two things. Number one is the type of beef, and you always, when you eat an animal product, you always want to know, if possible, where that animal came from, how it lived, and how it died.
Okay.
Now, sometimes, but you have more control, obviously, when you do things at home than when you go out in restaurants. Typically, restaurants.
Right, you have no idea.
When
I eat in a restaurant, I always say I don't like to eat sauces. I don't like to eat them because you don't know what's in the sauces. You want to see all the ingredients.
Exactly. So what you want that animal to have lived in a natural environment as much as possible.
So it's the grass-fed.
When it comes to cows, you want cows that actually, conventionally raised cows are probably the absolute worst thing you can eat. Here's why: the cow needs to gain about 1,000 pounds in about a year and a half, because the name of the game in that industry is weight. The more it weighs, the more you can sell, the faster you can sell that product, right?
Makes sense.
So the goal of that farmer of conventionally raised meat is to get it to gain weight quickly without getting sick. Well, what do you feed them? You feed them corn. Because corn, like high fructose corn syrup, gets you fat.
Been there, done that.
Right? So you feed them a lot of corn, but what happens with the cow? It weakens their immune system. So now you have to feed the cow antibiotics. Right? And a lot of it on a daily basis.
That's really interesting. I never understood why they did that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Because their food is so unnatural that they would get sick and they would acquire infections because they have a weakened immune system.
Understood. And so you want to have, that grass-fed thing. I actually just bought grass-fed butter. They said the cow.
Beautiful. It's healthy. Oh my God, butter, isn't it high in fat? No. That's a myth. Quality of the animal product is what you want. So pay that extra $1 or $2 because you either going to have to pay now, like you said, right?
Or pay later.
You don't want
how much beef should you eat? I mean, what's a good amount?
Once again, the quality is important, and one other thing is important: how you prepare it. So cooking and charring and the black stuff on the outside is not a good thing. That's called heterocyclic amine, and that's actually a carcinogenic compound.
Yeah, we also are afraid of that. I like it well done too. So
you want it so that it's not well done for the most part.
Right. So as long as it's not. And how much should you eat a day? Should you eat 8 ounces, 16 ounces? Should we go for the 64-ounce killer and get our name on the wall in the steak restaurant?
Right. Yeah, with blood coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Even if you lift weights a lot, you want to get protein.
Less is more. Less is always more.
Got it.
So there's two things to slowing down the aging process from a dietary perspective: eat the right foods and eat less.
Understood. And smaller meals.
Less is more. You want to graze if possible.
Right? That would be ideal to eat all day. Okay, let's move from food. Let's move on. Tip number 4.
Movement. Move.
Right.
Move.
Got it.
Move.
Keep in constant motion.
Keep in constant motion. Probably the biggest health risk akin to cigarette smoking in this day and age is the chair.
Sedentary lifestyle.
Absolutely. Even the latest research actually is very fascinating. Even those that actually go exercise for 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day, but sit down for the rest of the day, are still at a higher risk of dying from cancer and heart disease.
That is fascinating. See, so people who think they're behind that desk, that stressful desk job all day, and then they go kill themselves at the gym, they're probably helping themselves, but not as much as
to
they...
some degree. We're looking at anti-aging, living longer and better.
Got it. So you want to keep yourself in motion, which for me personally is not a problem. I'm always, you know me, I'm always on the go. I walk the stairs when I can. I never take that's a rule. I never take the escalators, and I try to avoid elevators wherever possible, and I
Excellent.
walk. Like I came here, I could have Ubered it or taxied it. I walked across town here. I always do that, try to keep myself on the go all the time.
I actually look like a nutcase in Manhattan oftentimes.
I know, I see your pictures on Facebook.
I'm usually with sneakers on, and if I have to wear a tie, whatever, and I'm running from place to place. Move.
Every day?
Every day. Every day.
No NFL football lying on the couch for 9 hours?
No, that's the worst, absolutely worst. You're really...
Potato chips, beer, and lie on the couch.
If you want to die quickly, that's exactly what
it's
you want to do.
It's not a bad way to die, but since this is about living longer and better, we're going to...
Clearly you're not connected to your wives if you do that.
That's right, I understand.
Not wives.
Wives, I got it, I understand. Okay, let's move to tip number 5.
Tip number 5. Stress management. Now, we can do 3 other segments on stress management. The number one thing that anyone can do that is quick, effective, and cheap.
Can I guess? Get divorced and get rid of your wife? No?
That's not that cheap.
Oh, it's not cheap. Okay, so it doesn't, because I know that reduced my stress level dramatically.
But as you know, it's not that cheap.
I got it. Okay.
Deep breathing. When you and I or anyone else is stressed, we breathe like this.
I've actually caught myself at my desk not breathing. Like I noticed because my neck is getting stiff, my back is getting stiff, and it's like all of a sudden you realize,
shallow,
and then all of a sudden I actually let out a breath.
When you breathe deeply, 8 count in, hold it for 4 seconds, and 8 count out. Hold it for 4 seconds and
how often should you do that?
That actually calms down your nervous system right away, and it costs nothing. You should do that first thing in the morning.
After
5 deep breaths.
After you express your gratitude.
Be grateful first. 5 deep breaths after. You want me to give you a solid morning? If you do what I'm about to say in the morning, even if it's not every day, 4 times a week, you're going to have an extraordinary life. How's that?
That's unbelievable.
You ready for it? You wake up in the morning, be grateful. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my kids to be healthy. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm actually have a great relationship with my wife. I'm grateful for you being my friend and all my friends. I'm grateful for my patients who depend on me for me to improve their health, etc., etc. Then I take 5 deep breaths. Then I drink a tall glass, 8 ounces of water. Why? You've just fasted for 12 hours. Your body's dehydrated.
Okay.
So don't go for coffee first. Hydrate with a tall glass of clean water. Then go out for a 30-minute workout where you're sweating.
Why do you do that in the morning?
Your metabolism is faster in the morning. Your cortisol levels are higher in the morning, and that helps you get going for the rest of the day. Okay. And those feel-good chemicals that come from exercising will last the whole day until you're ready to go to sleep. So you exercise for 30 minutes where you're sweating and with moderate intensity. Then you come back. You ready for this one? You take a cold shower. All the way cold.
Even in the winter?
Even in the winter.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Okay.
You have more tolerance to the cold weather when you're taking a cold shower in the morning.
And what does the cold shower do for you? Explain this.
Physiologically, it does 2 amazing things. It produces brown fat. What's brown fat? Brown fat is actually good fat as opposed to white fat. Brown fat raises your metabolism and keeps you lean.
Okay.
Number 2, it helps you produce a chemical in your body that's the master antioxidant in your body called glutathione. Glutathione protects your DNA, right? So if you have that kind of morning, gratitude, deep breathing, tall glass of water, a good solid workout with vigorous, moderate vigorousness, and take a cold shower, you're going to have a fantastic day now, and you're going to have many fantastic days to come.
And then we're going to combine that with the other tips, sort of enumerating why you want to live a longer life.
That's right.
We're going to have small meals. We're going to eat greens and natural things like that.
Correct. Eat whole foods. Don't eat too much.
And we're going to try to reduce the stress in our life.
By breathing.
By breathing, because we know we can't really avoid the stresses in our life.
Actually, that's the one thing you cannot avoid. If the only people that are avoiding stress, as we know, are those that are 20 feet under.
Exactly.
Where we don't want to be in.
So, and I know there's not going to be scientific study on this, but in your opinion, if I followed your regimen exactly, like I did it religiously every day, what could I expect to see in terms of increased longevity? I know you can't predict, you're a doctor, all that. What could I guess to see?
If you just do the things that I just mentioned, all things considered, doing nothing else, and there's many other things that one can do, doing nothing else, you and everyone else listening will have an amazing life, sharing with all those people they love by living lean with great health, likely avoiding all kinds of diseases that come along with aging, prostate problems, chronic urination, frequency in urination, getting up 5 times a night to urinate, prostate cancer, erectile dysfunction. Talk about quality of life.
Absolutely.
That's analogous to cancer in most men's mind. Just doing those tips, by and large, will help with that. There's no question in my mind.
So this was fascinating. I really want to thank you for being here today and sharing all of these things. My pleasure. I feel like I got a free doctor's visit, and I like nothing more than a free visit.
Well, to complete the visit, I have to do a prostate exam.
Okay, we're not going to do that on camera.
Not on camera. And not in public either.
Can I have a drink first?
No, and I won't kiss you before doing the exam.
I got it. So if I wanted to find out more about you, where would I find you?
DrGeo.com. That's Geo with an E, not an I. DrGeo.com.
And all your stuff is out there, and I can be found at msweetwood.com. I have lots of interesting blogs on parenting and life and all sorts of things. That's msweetwood.com, also on Twitter and Facebook.
Did I tell you that I love your last name, Sweetwood? I would love to be Dr. Sweetwood.
It's a pretty cool name.
It's particularly with what I do.
You know, it works in the adult film industry too. But
and in urology, and in the urology medical profession as well.
Thank you for coming on today. We're going to hug it out. Bro hug.
Two taps.
Oh, I got it.
1, 2.
That's it. Got it. Thanks for being here, and hopefully we'll get to do a few more of these along the way, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.